Hey everybody, it's Jolly and welcome back to my channel. And today I have another walkthrough of a project that I recently completed. And this is probably my largest sort of assemblage project to date, just in terms of, not necessarily in terms of physical dimensions, but in the kind of the scale of it. I actually made six different but related assemblages all around a specific theme. And before I show you the finished product, I just wanted to kind of walk you through a little bit of the inspiration and some of the ingredients, if you will, or materials or items that I used to make it happen. So, yeah, so first with the inspiration. So, you may have seen, I think I was still doing weekly videos when I made this, but at my, if you saw, my 100-day project was to make a different twinchie a day based on sort of randomly pulled prompts. And so day 8, very early in the project, back in March 1st, the prompt I had pulled was wig, and this is the twinchie I had made, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked how it turned out. I thought it was really fun, and so I've had in my mind since March. I'm filming this actually on the 4th of July, 2026, and so I've had this idea since I bookmarked this kind of as an idea that I really wanted to come back to eventually and explore further. And so that was kind of the inspiration. And then in terms of the ingredients or items that I use, so obviously used my vintage cabinet cards. And so how I use these, if you're new to my channel, I have a collection. Oh gosh, I think I'm up to almost 180 of sort of cabinet cards, CDVs, plus 30 to 40 more tin types, plus random vintage photos that I've been collecting. And always the first thing that I do when a new one arrives is I scan it. And so I'll scan. So for if you again, if you saw my 100-day project, I have a ton of these that I've scanned, and then I'll um, just sort of crop them down so that I can just use generally just use the head, but it essentially allows me to make my own kind of unique. I love those little Tim Holtz paper dolls. If you saw my full deck challenge video, you know I used one of those mini ones in every single card that I made. So this is kind of my equivalent. So yeah, so I used the cabinet cards and I scanned and I picked six gentlemen that I wanted to use for this project. And then the other item actually is this very random item. So this is, I don't even know what it's actually made of, but it's sticker paper. And this is not actually something I bought. Well, or I mean, I bought it. I didn't steal it. But it's not something I purposely bought. This actually came in, I bought just off Amazon a set of square punches. And for whatever reason, in the box, there came just like a bonus gift, I guess, of these very neon, very bright sticker papers in a bunch of different colors. And so um, I had no idea what I was going to do with them, but I ended up using them in this project as I went. And so because I had the neon, these neon colors, I also wanted to echo that in the paint choices that I use. So I've had these for a few years. These are the Golden Paints So Flat acrylics. So they're a very matte acrylic, but they come in these really fun, bright, almost neon colors. So this is the yellow green, the cadmium orange, and the ooh, I had no idea how to say that. Napthol. Let's go with that. Pink. These came in a set. There's a like a turquoise color, a deep purple color, and a yellow color. But based on the colors of sticker paper that I had, I ended up going with the pink, the orange, and the green. So yeah, and these paints are really good. They're really The colors are great. Again, they come out very matte. They dry very quickly. And you'll see how I use those shortly. And then what I used to create the wigs, the hair, so to speak, is so this is a set, and I don't recall the name off the top of my head, but these are I bought years ago a Jane Davenport stamp set, and it's one of the ones that I reach for most often. I really like these, but they're just sort of these like I don't know, kind of like 50s, 60s kind of pinup type um, women's heads and have a very sort of, illustration feel to them. And I've used these in a bunch of different projects, but basically to get the hair is I just take these stamps, stamped them onto the sticker paper, and then I use black embossing powder on them, and then basically just cut out the faces, so I was just left with the hair. So that's how I got the wigs. And then for the background, you'll see of these projects, I pulled a bunch of Florentine paper. So these are scraps from, I bought a scrap pack, but I also have a bunch of rolls. They come in these very long rolls. These very big sheets that come rolled up, and I get these from Kate Marshall at Inked Paper Art. She sells here on Facebook and also has Facebook on YouTube, and also has an Etsy shop. But yeah, so this is a Florentine paper, very decorative paper, comes from Italy, as the name suggests, and just has these really amazing patterns. Um, and so once I had my three colors chosen, I went ahead and picked. Um, so I guess it would actually end up being 9 different patterns that I have in my collection of these Florentine papers. And then finally, the last thing you see was this book, which I got from Jubilee Flea on Instagram. And it's this old book called The Girl That Goes Wrong. And what I ended up using is I love books like this um, to snip words from for sentiments and things. So yeah, so this book, the so I ended up using the table of contents because those were the right size of the books. But all of these, whether they're different stories or chapters, it's so the girl that was bad, the girl that studied art, the father that was careful, the girl that wasn't told, the girl that was weak. So what I did was I just cut up the table of contents. I scanned it, so I have it for future projects as well. But I cut up those sentiments, and then I used those sentiments because as soon as I saw this book, I knew they were going to end up like labels for something um, in a project. So these were kind of the general ingredients, again, that I used. And I will be right back and I'll show you what all these things ended up turning into. So for you, it'll just be a second and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and this is what all of those sort of random items turned into, and I'm calling this my All Hail the Queens uh, assemblage series. And so what it ends up is with 6 of these different, I guess, little mounted assemblages. Um, I'm envisioning that these would hang on the wall, so I left room for that in the back. And so what the base of these are is actually, so these are the bottoms of cardboard gift boxes, and I believe this is a 6 by 5 size gift box, and so I just use 6 of the bottoms of these, and so these are just cardboard, and so it's sturdy, but it's also pretty lightweight. Um, and then the uh, here's the little assemblage with the headshot essentially from the cabinet cards, and then with their little wig on the sticker paper. And then they're mounted on, so these are, if you saw one of my previous assemblages also, I these are just wooden candle jar lids. Um, I have a candle of the month essentially subscription from a small candle company, and they always come with these lids, so I always save them. And so they've got some nice dimension, and it almost kind of um, not in a dark way, but almost gives it the feel of like you know how trophies are sort of mounted, I guess with like an animal head or something. It gave me kind of that vibes, but yeah, so basically what I did was I took each of the candle jars and I painted them with the So Flat paint. And then I cut out a circle of corresponding Florentine paper and put that on the background. And then ironically, the So Flat paint, one of the features of it is that it is so flat. It's incredibly matte. But I actually wanted some shine, so I used it's a Mod Podge, I think a high shine acrylic sealer. And so before I put the face on, I went ahead and I sprayed all of these. And not only did it give it this light, you know, if you put multiple layers on, it apparently eventually comes into a resin-like finish. And I didn't want it quite that that shiny, but I did want a little bit of shine to bring out sort of these neon type colors. And and the added benefit was actually that it sort of like how you use, you know, matte medium with tissue paper or something, but it also sort of enhanced it made the background of the Florentine paper, which is either sort of like a white or a cream color, go a bit translucent so you can see that paint color also come through and kind of blend it in the background, which was neat. So yeah, so I painted each of these candle jar lids with the different colors, two of each, and then made a circle of the paper, stuck that down, and then went ahead and once that was dry, I added the our little drag queen heads, so to speak. And then I mounted these just with foam tape, so they also have like some extra dimension. And then for the box, again, this is just the bottom of a gift box. I painted this with the color, and then I chose a different Florentine paper to be the background. So this one, obviously, I went with greens to match the wig. And so went ahead and put strips of that on all four sides, and I left the green showing. And so then I just mounted the candle jar lid onto the box with, I used some E6000. And then I got these little book plates, these sort of faux vintage book plates from uh, the junk journal shop. And I got these little, tiny little brads, and what I ended up doing is I just took some scrap cardstock, cut that, painted it with the same color, and then, like I said, cut out the sentiments the um, from the book, the table of contents from that book that I showed you. So yeah, so very simple. I don't even know if you would call this an assemblage, but I'm calling it an assemblage. But I just love yeah, I don't know. Again, almost like a trophy or like employee of the month kind of plaque. I guess plaque would be a good word for this, better than trophy. So yeah, so this is probably my favorite one actually, and I'm not usually a green person, but I just love how I love the wig worked with this face. This guy I use in everything. I think he has just such a great intense stare. Um, and yeah, and then so for this one I used The Girl That Was Bad. And then I'll just walk you through real quick all the different versions, all put together in exactly the same way. Very assembly style, very mass make, which is kind of different for me. And so this one, the Florentine paper, is a trefoil sort of pattern that Florentine paper. I also use this one in my 100-day project, if you saw that. And then again, the green, and this is The Woman That Is Bohemian. And then I use the orange. And so for the orange, The orange was a little bit of a struggle just because I didn't have much orange Florentine paper. That's not as common of a color, or at least not one that I have. So this one I actually just ended up using a neutral, and then I ended up inking around the edges with some orange, but I still think it worked out. And I used a pattern that had for the candle jar lid a color that had a lot of different colors, but also had orange in. And so again, I think actually the spraying it helped a lot because it allowed some of the orange behind it to bleed through and make it more orange. So I thought that worked out pretty well. So this is just like a gold floral, kind of looks like an old wallpaper pattern, which I love that. And so yeah, and this is the girl that wanted Ermine. Hoping I'm saying that right, or Ermine. I think Ermine. And then similar, I love this Florentine paper. This is an orange poppy pattern. This is great. And I picked a lot, not all of them. These last two don't, but I picked guys with fun mustaches too to just sort of emphasize, the contrast with the wig and the neon and the kind of the campiness of it all. But this is a beautiful Florentine paper, has lots of gold accents in it. And this is the girl that was romantic. And then our final ones was this. These are the pink ladies. And so this one I love. Again, it's got some gold in the Florentine paper, very pink and purple. And then for the background, I used, again, one that had different shades of pink. And this one I feel in particular, the background came through once I sprayed it. Um, and this is the girl that studied art. And then the final one is this one. And this one I kind of messed up a little bit on. Not messed up, but basically the hair is so long on this one, and the photo ended basically here. And so if I wanted to make it fit in the bottom of the circle, I would have had to lose some of the hair, and I didn't want to do that. So um, this one actually ends before the bottom of the circle. It doesn't bother me that much. If it really ends up bothering me, I guess I could maybe cut a piece out to fill, but I don't think I really care enough. I think it still looks good as it is, and I really wanted to get the hair. And this is the girl that killed. Um, and this is the same Florentine paper that I used actually in the inspiration twinchie. And this one has a lot of gold in it. It's just very dramatic and flamboyant, which I love. And so yeah, so this is my series of 6. Very happy with how they turned out. This is one where I went in again with a general idea, but just kind of each step brought a new idea, and pulling things from my stash. And I love them. And in terms of what I'm going to do with them, I also debated. So I actually originally thought I was just going to do the 6 of them, the candle jar lids with the heads, and then the book plates, and just put them on one like artist board, similar to what I did with the 4 shadow boxes that I did in my last project. But I actually liked having 6 individual, allow me to show off more of the paper and color coordinate a bit better. And so what I'm thinking right now is I might maybe keep 3 of them, one in each color. And then I have a couple friends who've already claimed a couple. So I think the other 3 I'll probably give away to friends. Um, or I could just turn it into a gallery wall of 6, but I think I like the idea of giving a few of these away. So I'll probably pick my favorite 3 and sort of hang them on my wall in a row, and then give away the other 3 to anyone who might like them. So yeah, so this is my project, my All Hail the Queens. I had a lot of fun with it. I hope you enjoyed this flip through process. In terms of my channel, I don't know what my next video is going to be, but I am, no promises, but toying with the idea of doing a sort of collage along with me, or because frankly, personally, I like to watch those a lot more than I do sort of these walkthroughs. But I also just know like my process is very like start and stop, and I don't have I don't have like a craft room or art studio. I live in a one bedroom apartment, so my stuff's sort of spread around wherever there's storage for it. So I have to get up a lot and get stuff. So, um, but I'm thinking of maybe tiptoeing into um, doing some of that, some sort of live in process or in progress work along with me type videos. So, but we'll see. But yeah, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. Happy 4th of July for those who are here in the US. Happy Pride Month. I'd actually hoped to get these done in June, and I got them. I think I finished them like July 1st or July 2nd. So we'll count it. Extended Pride Month. But yeah, and thank you again for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.